Good afternoon and welcome to our next event in our series of Open Day lives that we're running to tell you all about the courses that Technology Triumph can offer your Home Educated or EOTAS learners. So today is a huge focus on our cookery courses, which is actually one of our, well, they are our most popular courses at the moment for a range of reasons, I'm sure. But this is really an opportunity for us to tell you all about how we work, how everything operates, but really as well an opportunity for you to ask any questions. So if you are watching this live and you have a question about a specific in relation to the course, how it works, how it's assessed or anything like that, please feel free to pop it in the dialogue box as we are chatting, and we will answer those questions as we go along. So I'm just going to leave it a minute or so just for people to join in, but just to summarise some of the things we're going to be talking today about are who we are, how our qualifications actually work, how the courses are delivered, how they're assessed, the equipment that you might need, the minimal amount of equipment that you might need, the course content, so the sorts of things your learner could learn. I'm even going to show you some of the work of some of our learners as well, so you can see the sort of things they're learning and the quality of their work, how to book, how to pay, and our ethos as a company as well. So like I say, if you've got any specific questions, feel free to pop them in as we go along, but hopefully we'll cover pretty much everything to give you the information you need to make an informed decision about whether or not these qualifications will work for your learners. So if you weren't aware, we have a number of courses available. So we've got our cookery that we're talking about today, but we also have our mixed media, which is arts and crafts based. We have our textiles, and we have new is our photography course. Oh, and cake decorating as well. So it's all practical based qualifications, and I'll create an open day event for each of them, so that if there are some there that you like the sound of, keep an eye out for our future open day events, or look back on the ones we've already done. So I can see some questions already coming in from Hayley. Is this equivalent to a GCSE level? Really good question, Hayley. Yes, our level 2 cookery and our level 2 courses are GCSE level courses. Now, I will explain a bit more about their weighting and how much they're worth and how they are helping learners gain access to college to level 3 courses. But in the short, if you're looking for a GCSE alternative to something like food tech, this is about as close as you can get. There are a couple of providers, I believe in the Midlands. I think there's 2 places that offer a food tech GCSE, but that requires attending in person, and generally it's a controlled assessment type conditions rather than portfolio assessed courses like we're offering. So, and Hayley, you just asked another good question. Do colleges recognise these qualifications? Yes, they do. Colleges often run these qualifications. So that's probably handy to know as well. The awarding body we use is NCFE, which is very vocational and practical based. And like I say, if you look through your local colleges, you may well see that they're offering the NCFE level 2 in cookery or level 3 in cookery or other subjects, but they do use NCFE as an awarding body. And like I say, we've had learners who have gone on to do the NCFE level 3 at colleges. But I'll explain that in more detail as we go along. So I'm just going to introduce us. And now we've got people joining us. So I'm just going to add myself and Jo to the stream. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll press some buttons. So hi. So I'm Pip, the person who was talking, rambling on there, and we've got Jo here as well, our social media support. So if you're ever in touch with us on social media, reaching out to us, it's always Jo that you're chatting to. If you're ever emailing us direct, it's always me that you're chatting to. Sometimes I think it helps, especially with young people, to be able to put faces to names. So these are our faces. You don't need to see them too much today, though. It's too hot for that. So what I'm going to do is show you our presentation and talk through the main points. We've tried to make this as streamlined as possible because obviously we understand that your time is precious, and you just need the information. So obviously if you're watching this on replay, then you can still ask questions. We will pick them up and be monitoring what comments actually go onto this video. And yeah, we'll get started, shall we, Jo?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, I'm going to go back to our presentation then. So, to summarise very briefly what we are, who we are. Like I say, we work with NCFE, which is a recognised awarding body. It's one that I worked with in schools previously. If you're not familiar with them, do check them out. They've got a very easily accessible website. They're normally utilised a lot in vocational areas they're often seen within employment. So if people are working in the medical field or anything like that, they often will be completing NCFE qualifications as further training. So as a to summarise who we and what we are, because people often assume we are a tuition service. We're not quite a tuition service. We're a bit of a hybrid mix. So to put it into a sentence, we're an online, affordable and flexible learning towards creative qualifications of GCSE alternatives. So we recognise that there wasn't many opportunities for home educating or children that weren't in mainstream schools. There weren't many opportunities for them to be able to gain GCSE-like qualifications in the creative and practical subjects. So we have done something about that. And that's why we focus on the creatives. My background is the creatives, so I was the head of DT in mainstream schooling before I did this. And that's where our passions lie as well as a team of people. We are all about the creatives. And we realised that there wasn't those opportunities. So we've put something in place specifically designed for home editors for this reason. So we weren't just private tutors and we are just accessing the home ed market. We've designed something specifically for you guys. I'll just go to my next slide. So who are we? I mentioned I'm Pip. I am a qualified teacher, but I'm also probably, I think, now that I'm part of the community, more importantly, a home editor myself, as is Jo. So we are a small team of passionate people. There's 8 of us, most working in a part-time capacity, but we are a mixture of home editors. We've got one that's been home edited and is now an adult in the industry, qualified teachers and industry specialists. So between us, we have a big, wide range of skill sets that we can share, and we can look at things from all different angles. And actually, we think that works really well in terms of helping a wide range of young people. We established in 2019 as Technology Triumphs. I was working with Home Educated Learners just before that in 2018. So we've been running a little while now, which is quite handy, I think, for people looking for GCSE alternatives, because what that means is we have a track record now of young people that have completed their courses with us and have taken their qualifications in order to gain access to further education or to get employment. So we can talk a little bit about some of the things that some of our individuals have done, but we know for certain now, we were hopeful that these qualifications would be recognised by colleges, but now we know for certain that they are being recognised by colleges. Quickly on that note, I will say, and I always say this, I can't guarantee that every college will accept these qualifications in place of a GCSE in every subject or for every course, because every college has their own admissions policy. So what I always suggest for anyone who needs these qualifications as a stepping stone for a particular course, for a particular college, is to phone the admissions office with the full name of the course. You can have the qualification number as well, and ask them outright, being very specific about the course that you're thinking about, and ideally get it from them in writing that they would accept that as an alternative to a GCSE. But 99.9% of the time, that I did just pull that figure out of the air, but all the cases that are reported back to us, the message we're receiving is yes, they are accepting them. So we are community focused because we are a part of this community, very much a part of this community, and we understand the struggles and the challenges. And yes, it's very rewarding, but it's also very hard, and it can be very expensive as well. So a big part of what we try and do for the home ed community is give back. And last year, or this academic year, we've worked out that we have made over 100 hours of free content that we just give away to anybody that can make use of it. You don't have to be an enrolled learner. And we've also worked out that we've invested 50% of the profit from the company back into the community, whether that's through funded courses or buying prizes to give away in competitions or awards and things like that. So that's very much who we are and what we're about and what we're trying to do in the sense of just trying to help our community. Yeah, that was all I was going to say on that slide. Did I miss anything there, Jo?
No, I think that's absolutely everything on that one.
Cool.
So we're now going to cover how exactly our courses are delivered. So we operate wholly online, and we have a dedicated NCFE learner portal, which when you enroll with us, you are given a username and password for the start of your course. And it's within this learner portal that you can access every single workbook for your course from the outset. So you can read ahead, you can plan, and you can work at your own pace. So you're not working to any deadlines with us, and you're not waiting for any set time of year for workbooks to release, or you're not waiting on uploads or anything like that. It's all there for you when you begin. And what's probably also really great to know is that with our courses, you are not tied to having to do them at a physical place. So there's no in-person lessons for you to attend. There's no in-person lessons online for you to attend either. So if you're a world schooler, or you have travel plans, or your learner is in a split residence, so they might spend time at one house and then the rest of the week they move to another, you can take it to grandparents' house and do a bit of it if you're spending time there and things like that. So we offer that flexibility and adaptability around your lifestyle as well. So you access all of your workbook, all of the tutorials are all online as well. So not only are they all designed to be viewed online, there is absolutely no need for you to print anything. Obviously, you can if you want to, and your printer is up to the task, by all means do so. But we have designed them so that you wouldn't have to do that. You can type answers directly into the answer boxes on the workbooks. You then save that to your device. And when your workbook is complete, you then upload it to that learner portal. And the evidence for your workbook is captured through photos that you take, and you create what we call a photo gallery. So you upload those 2 pieces online when you are ready at the end of each workbook. And so we're now going to have a look at what the workbooks actually look like. So here we go. So they're all fillable PDF documents. And as we mentioned, all of the tutorials are all pre-filmed, and you access them through a YouTube link, which is inside the workbook as well. So you can see that little red box with the white play symbol. That's the direct YouTube link. You just click on that and it takes you directly to that tutorial. So you haven't got to search through loads of videos, anything like that. And then we're going to move on to the next slide, I believe. And this is what our workbooks look like. So Pip is going to take us through what's covered in the workbooks in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, so just on that note, you mentioned the YouTube tutorials. I think it's really handy if people want to see the level of the content and how the tutorials actually look and whether it's going to work for their learner. All of our tutorials for all of our courses are public on our YouTube page, on our YouTube channel. So if you want to just have a look, you can scroll through and they're completely accessible. We don't lock them out, lock people out. So they're freely available for anyone who wants to just have a look, or perhaps you're not wanting a formal qualification, or you aren't financially in a position to be able to book on for a formal qualification. You could utilize those YouTube tutorials for your learners learning anyway. So it was just to highlight that. So I was just going to show you the workbook briefly. So as Jo was saying, they're designed for you to click and type onto. So there is written work within the level 1 and level 2 courses. It's about a 50-50 split in terms of written work, or not written work necessarily, but theory-based work and practical work. So they are making all the time, but it's really important that the learner develops their subject knowledge as they go as well. But we have got ways that we can support and things that we can sort of provide flexibility in relation to that if you have got a reluctant writer at all. We just mentioned support, so I'll let Jo talk about the different ways that we support as a company, you and your learner.
Yeah, so our YouTube channel, as Pip said, has all of our tutorials freely available on there. You can dip into those and have a look. You can have a look at the tutorials for any of the courses as well. So just because today we're talking about cookery, if you wanted to have a look at what goes on in mixed media or textiles, you can hop on and just have a look through all of our channel. That's all freely available. And as well, in terms of support, each learner has an assigned assessor. So that is a real live person at the end of that learner portal who reviews your submissions and assesses them and provides individualized feedback for your learner. So we are not utilizing anything like AI technology that just flicks through pages and gives you a tick box at the end of it. The feedback that your learner receives comes from a real live person who is looking at your individual submission as well.
I think it's probably important sorry, Jo, I think it's important to say as well that a real life assessor who's also invested in your learner succeeding. You know, the people that we are within our team, we're very picky about who's part of our team, and it's people that care and want to see the young people succeed and fulfill their potential as well. So the feedback is normally very, very motivating, uplifting, positive. It's not when we assessment and assessor sounds very rigid. It sounds very like pass or foul or right or wrong. It's really not like that at all. It's much more guidance, and this is how we can do better and how we can progress your skills on a little further. So it's very motivating, and for anyone like myself, if I've received a piece of paper that said I'd failed something or got something wrong, I would not respond well to that. As just that's my way of learning. It's not like that at all. It's very much, oh, we've not quite got this assessment objective, but if we try this, then we can hit it. So hopefully it helps keep your learner engaged and motivated as well.
Yeah, definitely. So basically every learner is an individual, and we recognise that. So we're not assessing everybody to a very rigid expectation. We are working with what that learner, the level that learner is at, and what they can achieve themselves. So within this, you also have access to a qualified teacher. We have more than one teacher on the team. Pip is probably the number one that you will reach out to if you ever need to. But if you ever need specific advice that comes from the more formal background of schooling, then we have people on hand who are more than happy to help out in any way, in any capacity that they can, whether it's specific to your course with us or from a more generalized perspective as well. We are always on hand to help. And then also we have social media support. So if you are ever reaching out on social media, as Pip said at the start, you are most likely going to end up talking to me. I am always happy to help. You can reach out. We are social media channels. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, which gives a little bit more of a behind the scenes look at what we do. We are on what else? We're on Pinterest as well, and we're potentially going to pop up on TikTok soon as well. But you can always reach out on any of the direct messaging, private messaging services there. And we also have our closed community groups on Facebook. So we have specific dedicated groups for each course at each level as well. And they are full of existing, past and upcoming learners as well. And you can really just chat to other people who are on the course. You can see what other people are up to. You can ask any questions. And we think these are really just great community spaces for people to be able to touch base with somebody who's really doing the course. So we could tell you that these courses are absolutely fantastic and absolutely amazing, but you want to hear it from somebody who's really going through it from the same perspective that you will be. So you can always reach out and ask in any of those groups. We will be sure to add the links to the specific closed community groups for both our level 1 and level 2 cookery to this video as well.
On that vein, it's well worth if you haven't found them already. So you don't have to be an enrolled learner to gain access to the course. So if you're interested to know more, then you can just request to join any point now. And as well as being able to reach out to other families that are already on the course and ask them their opinion before you decide on whether or not you want to book, you will find in the file section, there's loads more information, including sample sessions for you to be able to try for free as well. And then you can really gauge whether or not you think the course is going to work for your learner, and also to work out which level is going to work for your learner. So I would definitely recommend after this live, if you haven't done so already, finding the closed community groups and joining them for some more information as well.
Yeah.
So we've had a question come in. I'm just going to acknowledge it. So Leah, are there any age restrictions? The short answer is no. I have got a slide coming up where we explain a bit more about this, but the short answer is there's no minimum or maximum age, but, which is always a bonus, isn't it? Assessments, again, not a word I like the sound of. It gives me a bit of anxiety. It's not assessment in the way that we are perhaps conditioned to know assessment to be. So it's not exam based. There are no exams. Your learner is assessed via their assigned assessor through the duration of their course. So by completing the course, and completing any corrections or improvements that your assessor has suggested you do, that is how you pass the course. So there's no endpoint assessment that you have to build up to and perform for on a day. It's just complete the course, take the time you need in order to complete the course and any corrections, and at the end of that, we will confirm that you have completed the course and have passed the qualification. So it's a pass, the exam, the awarding body would say a pass or fail course. We call it a pass or not yet passed course because we don't impose any deadlines. It's just that your learner might not be there yet and just needs a bit more time. So I know that for me as a creative person and an anxious person, not having an exam to prepare for or some kind of assessment at the end of it is a very important feature for any qualification. So your work is assessed via those workbooks that you complete as you go along, and then also your built up photo gallery. So all the photographic evidence of you or the learner working and creating their cookery products and then submitted alongside their workbook. Alongside that, we do have a video log that we request, a couple of video logs, and that's just so that we can evidence to the exam board that the young person is doing their work. But we have loads of supportive measures to help people that might struggle with that aspect of it and can make allowances as well. So another important feature as a creative person, myself, I am dyslexic, and that is often the case with creative people. So it's really important to me that we chose a specification that didn't put any bearing on spelling and grammar. So spelling and grammar is not assessed. So long as the learner can communicate their knowledge and their skills in a way that we can understand, then that is good enough for us. All that is being assessed is subject knowledge and skills. So we don't need to worry about spelling and grammar, which is bonus as well. And like we've already mentioned, no deadlines. So a key part of our ethos is being as accessible and flexible as possible for as many families as possible. So imposing deadlines just makes it so difficult for so many people. I'm one with my own learners, we would struggle to meet deadlines. So we have removed that. You don't need to have completed work by a certain date or by a certain point in the year. You can work through at your own pace. And that's, again, the added bonus of the course is being written in full and available to you in full from the start. From the very first payment that you make, you've got full access as soon as you log onto the portal, is that you can then work through at your own pace and take as little or as long time as you need to. I'm just going to change the slideshow. So we're going to talk a little bit about each of the qualifications. I think we were going to talk about equipment first, weren't we? Should I jump to that slide, Jo?
If you want to jump on, jump forward.
Yeah, we'll jump forward and then jump back again. You're getting a preview now. So, Jo, do you want to take a second?
So here we'll just chat. Are we good?
Yes. Sorry, Jo, did you want to speak about the equipment?
Yeah, I'll cover the equipment for everybody first, because often one of the frustrations when it comes to finding courses for home ed learners, and I know this myself, is that you find this really great sounding course and the price is doable, that feels good, and then you get an equipment list of other items that you're going to have to source, and then suddenly the cost just goes boom, and it effectively prices you out because of all the equipment that they dictate that you're going to have to need. It ends up feeling very similar to, when you're at school and you suddenly get the list of all the equipment that they're going to need for the various different sports and all that kind of, and the price just explodes in front of you. So this has actually been a really key consideration when we've been designing any of our courses, is that the equipment needs are kept minimal, or they utilize things that you've already got in your home already. And we also really want to put it out there that people can adapt our courses to their own needs or to the things that they've already got in their home as well. So equipment you're going to need access to. You don't necessarily need to own it, but you can borrow it from elsewhere or ask a neighbour or somebody else, or purchase these things with a couple of other people who might also be doing the course and share them round, or make the best of places like charity shops and things like that. We love those. So equipment wise, what are you going to need? You are going to need access to a laptop, a tablet, or a PC, something that you can access those workbooks on, and something that allows you to build that photo gallery document that we've spoken about as well. You'll need a phone camera, or you can use a digital camera, something that allows you to capture those evidence photos of your learner at work or their completed products. You'll need a kitchen, ideally, and with your regular domestic kitchen utensils. And you will also need, at some point during the course, access to piping bag and nozzles, which are used in a cake decorating context. So those are kind of the specific things that you want to make sure that you've got access to.
Yeah, so obviously we do require you to use a lot more utensils, but generally speaking, it's the kitchen utensils that most people are going to have in their kitchen already. That it was designed on purpose that way, so as to avoid any unnecessary outlay. There are some other voluntary things you might want to purchase. So for the level 2 cookery course, you might want to purchase a pasta making machine. You can get them for about £20, but I'm reliably informed by one of our parents that you can buy them in boot fairs all the time for £1 or £2, so that's definitely worth a look out. You don't have to have one. You can make pasta from by hand using a rolling pin. It's just if you are looking for specialist equipment, that would be handy. You will of course need an apron, but we provide one to you as a free gift as part of your induction pack, so it's not an outlay you need to buy, but you might, again, if you're wanting your learners to get really engaged and motivated, might want to consider a set of chef's whites so that they're actually dressed professionally for the role. But let's actually talk about what sorts of things your learner will be learning, as well as the credit value and the size of the qualifications, so we can understand how it will work in place of GCSE. I have seen a question come in, so I'm just going to quickly acknowledge that from Yvette, that says, if my daughter works quicker than planned, do I just pay the remainder of the course for certification? That is spot on, Yvette. So if you finish the course before your payment plan ends, then we just ask you to pay the remaining balance and then we claim your certificate. If you don't want to pay off a one-off balance like that, which is fair enough, you continue through your payment plan, and at the point the payment plan is finished, then we can claim your certificate for you. So we're going to start with the level 1 qualifications. We are covering level 1 and level 2 cookery. And just to highlight, you don't have to have done the level 1 before you access the level 2 cookery. So if your learner you think is ready to jump to the level 2, they can book straight onto that. They don't have to complete the level 1 first of all. So the level 1 qualification has a credit value of 9. So this is the information that you need when you are phoning the colleges, what the actual credit value is. So the level of the course refers to how difficult the course is, how complex it is. So the level 1 course puts it in line with a GCSE grade 1 to 3 or D to G and a bronze arts award. But the credit value is referencing the size of the qualification, how many hours it takes to actually complete the qualification. So I think from memory, and we can check this on Google, but I think from memory, a bronze arts award, although it is a level 1, is only worth 6 credits. So it doesn't make it as big a qualification as this level 1 qualification does, for example. So it's worth 9 credits, which means it's roughly speaking 90 hours worth of content. So if you're thinking about how you're going to timetable this into your year or 2 years, then that's something to bear in mind. It is a 50-50, roughly speaking, split between, I said written work, but really I mean theory work and practical work. And as was asked by Leah earlier, there are no age restrictions. There's no minimum and no maximum ages. What we do suggest is a guidance age referring to reading and comprehension, because obviously there is some theory aspects. The learner needs to be able to understand that language to be able to answer the questions. And I would say for level 1, you want a reading and comprehension age of at least 10 years old. So I'm putting my 10-year-old onto a level 1 course this year, having already completed, or he's nearly finished, the entry-level award last year. So that will give you a guidance. But if you're still not sure, if you join those community groups within the file section, like I said, you'll have the sample materials. The best way to check is to just have a go with your learner and see if it's too challenging, or if you've tried them on the level 1 and you think actually this is too easy, maybe you need to look at the level 2 as an alternative. So I'm just going to change slides. So level 1. Both of these courses run over 11 workbooks, and the reason being is that it's been designed to run like a GCSE would in a school setting. So it's designed to be completed over 2 years, although you don't have to take 2 years, you can complete it sooner, or you can take longer if you want. So the idea is that it spans 11.5 terms, so that when year 11s would be finishing their coursework, that's at the point that the course would finish as well. But like I say, there's no time restrictions, so you're free to work through it at your own pace. So you can see here on the screen, we cook a variety of things. So the first workbook obviously is sweet treats. We want to engage the learners and make sure they're as excited about cooking as possible. So they get to make flapjacks, brownies and cupcakes, but we also cover personal hygiene and knife and oven safety, because obviously it's vital that they have that foundation before they get too involved with the cooking aspects. Workbook 2 moves on to savoury treats, so mini quiches, cheese and onion rolls and mini toes in the holes, and looking at bacteria and safe storage of food. Workbook 3, we move on to main meals, so we actually help learners develop their skills to be able to cook multiple components, so a sweet and sour dish, a pasta dish and bangers and mash. And then looking at different oven types, hand utensils and electrical equipment, so going a bit more in depth into all the different tools we can use to cook. Workbook 4 is all about waste less. So it's about utilising ingredients in order to reduce waste. And again, we're looking at main meals, so a spaghetti bolognese, a roast dinner, which is a huge thing to be able to accomplish, and then their own choice. So they start to learn about recipe development by using or utilising leftover ingredients from one of their previous meals. And they learn about nutrition, seasonal vegetables, and costing out recipes as well. Workbook 5, we look at special dietary needs, in particular lactose-free, wheat-free and vegetarian diets. And then workbook 6 to 10 becomes a major project. So this is written really in a way to help learners who might be thinking about going on to college or even university to study subjects or creative subjects. So it's written as a major project in a format that would prepare them for that sort of next level of learning. So the idea is that they work on a sustained project to a design brief, and the design brief is to design and plan and make an entire afternoon tea. So they have to research what afternoon teas are. They have to theme their afternoon tea as well, which is really cool because we get some awesomely creative ideas come through. So I've seen Harry Potter inspired afternoon teas. I've seen people focus an entire afternoon tea on their favourite book. I've seen Lord of the Rings afternoon teas. So many things where they don't just dress the table and think about the decoration, but even the flavours they're using, they are able to relate it to a theme in some way. So it's very involved, and the end product is such a nice thing. It's such a showcase that the learners end up feeling extremely proud of their accomplishments, as are we. And then the final workbook is just completing a final evaluation of that. Now, that's generally a written task, but if your learner is a reluctant writer, they could complete that as an audio file, for example. And there are other ways that we can accept evidence of that knowledge being demonstrated. On that note, I've mentioned a couple of times about reluctant writers. It is entirely possible for parents or facilitators at home to scribe for their learners. So if you have a learner that is able to verbalise their responses but really doesn't like writing them down, you can write on their behalf, as long as you're doing this word for word in their language, and it takes that obstacle out of the way for a lot of families, I know. So just some course exemplar from one of our learners at the moment. Just grabbed one of these. This learner and mum has given us permission to share these. So these are some of the practice cooks that this young person is preparing in order to create their afternoon tea. So he's trialing out dishes, he's getting people to taste test them, he's self-reflecting on them, and then he's making adjustments. These mozzarella and caramelized onion vol au vents look amazing, and such incredible use of flavors ingredients as well, which is pretty cool. And then this was from earlier in the workbooks. So we've got that roast dinner that he's made in a massive Yorkshire pudding, and we've got some pasties that he made, and then homemade millionaire tarts as well. So lots of yummy treats, lots of variety. Sorry, Jo, was you going to say something?
Yeah, I said yum.
And again, if anyone that's watching and wondering this, that we offer, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but we offer complete flexibility on the recipes as well. So if you're watching this with a dietary need, for example, you're vegan or vegetarian, and you're thinking, well, there's no way we can cook that, we offer complete flexibility, and you are allowed to deviate from the provided recipes completely if you want to. So the workbooks and the tasks within them are really guides on how to hit the assessment objectives. If you need to change any of that for any reason, then we can accommodate that. We don't want any learner being left behind, basically. So I'm going to move on to our level 2 certificate. If anyone's got any questions about the level 1, please feel free to ask. I will pick them up. So the level 2 certificate is the one that is much more in line with being a level 2, a standard pass GCSE. And this is the one that our learners are now able to utilise to gain access to college for further education courses or level 3s. So it's called the Level 2 Certificate in Creative Craft Cookery. It has a credit value of 15, so it's 150 hours. Now, in comparison, a standard GCSE at pass rate is considered to be worth 12 to 14 credits. So straight away you can see that the weighting of this qualification is actually marginally higher than a GCSE, which is, I think, one of the reasons that colleges are accepting it in place of, for example, a food tech GCSE. So it puts it in line with GCSE grade 4 to 9, A star to C, and the Silver Arts Award. And just like the level 1, there's about a 50-50 split between the theory and practical work. And once again, no age restrictions, no minimum, no maximum. We have had parents join in with our courses as well. So even if adult learners want to bulk out their CVs with GCSE alternatives, you can book on as well. As a guidance age in terms of reading and comprehension, I would suggest roughly 12 to 13. But again, if you've got any doubt, you're not sure, access those closed community groups where you can see in the file section a sample session from the workbook. And I also want to point out that both the courses, all of our courses, are written progressively. So they're almost written from workbook 1 as if, or assuming that the learner has a very basic or perhaps even no knowledge on the subject at the start, and it builds up. So if you're worried that you think your level 2, your learner is ready for the level 2 in terms of comprehension, but they've never cooked before, then that doesn't need to be a concern, because actually the course is written to start fairly basic and become more progressive and complex as you work your way through it. So what we cover, okay, lots of cooking. So roughly speaking, the difference between the level 1 and 2 in terms of cooking is twice as much cooking. So with the level 1, if you were using the 2-year track, if you wanted to follow that sort of timeline, with the level 1 you would cook once a fortnight during the term time. With the level 2, you're cooking every week during term time, so twice as much cooking. You can see here a wide, I'm not going to read all this out to you because I find that really annoying when people read out PowerPoints to you, but and plus there's just too many words on there. But we have got information packs for each of these courses that have this all in there, so they are available again in the closed community groups, or you can request them via email. But basically we try and expose the learners to as many different flavours, as many different technical processes, and looking at foods from around the world as well. So the initial workbooks, again, it's about building knowledge, building on the theory, looking at health and safety, looking at special dietary needs, but a lot more in depth than the level 1 would. And then from workbooks 5 to 7, we introduce another unit. We refer to it as a business enterprise unit. So a big part of the level 2 qualification that makes it so different from a level 1, and I think is what makes it worth the level 2, is this business enterprise unit, where the learner starts to look at how they would earn money in the industry and how that could work. So they look at employment opportunities, they look at enterprising characters, they look at how to action plan, they look at market research, how to keep financial records, all that sort of technical stuff, but actually it kind of makes sense if your learner is thinking about in the long term. And so crosses over slightly into business studies. And then workbooks 8 to 9 is, well, effectively workbooks 8 to 11, is like the level 1, becomes the major project. So this time, instead of an afternoon tea, the design brief is for the learner to explore foods from around the world and create a 3-course meal that celebrates food culture that could be served in a restaurant. So it has to be restaurant worthy. We're thinking about how you display it, how you address it, condiments and accompaniments, things like that, and really showcasing the skills. So throughout those workbooks, you're still being encouraged to try different recipes that we provide, that again takes us around the world, but considers all 3 courses, so starters, mains and desserts. But the learner then has to start doing some more research and decide upon recipes they want to base their final cook on. They might source the recipe and then adapt it and develop it by taste testing and self-evaluating. They present their food and then they evaluate as well. So that's what we cover in the level 1 and the level 2. So quite a lot, but we encourage learners to really sort of express themselves through their cookery, and really they can deviate away from the tasks that we have provided. We want people to be as experimental with things as they possibly can be. So course exemplar from level 2. This is one of our learners who's just recently finished. She's on all 5 of our level 2 courses at the moment. She's doing an amazing job. And these are some photos from her photo galleries. The Momo dumplings you can see up there, this was part of her practice cooks for her final cook. But we've also got some foods from earlier in the course as well. And look at these. I mean, look at these cakes. Aren't they incredible? And yeah, so everything is the course title says creative craft. So it isn't just about cooking a pizza or making a pizza. We want learners to be as creative with it as possible. We encourage that through the course as well. So we've covered equipment.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, Pip, if you can add us both back onto the screen.
Let's do that. See if I can find
just to cover this bit. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here we are back again. I think it's really key for when you're signing up for a course or a service with anyone is that you get to know the people who are behind it and what they're all about and the reasons why they've set up the courses that they have and the reasons why they do them the way that they have as well. So as Pip covered earlier, a lot of our team are home educators or have been home educated. So we are members of the community that we are aiming to serve as well. So because we're within that community, we kind of know what a number of people are looking for. And that's how we've been able to develop our courses, is by knowing the community the way we do, by being in it. So we have designed our courses to be as accessible as possible. So whether that be from the financial perspective, whether that be from being able to make use of what you've already got in your home, whether it's the ways in which you can adapt how you work. So whether that's the adult scribing for the learner, or whether you've got to make adjustments for how your learner works for sensory needs or SEN needs, anything like that, you can do that. And again, all the recipes within the cookery course can be adapted as well. So if your learner wants to experiment with pastry, but perhaps doesn't want to necessarily make sausage roll, they can make a variation of it or something that uses those same skills but doesn't result in that end product as well. So we really want to offer that flexibility, because we know what it's like with young learners, having them ourselves, is that sometimes having to make a very particular thing ends up being a block to them wanting to do anything at all. And then you end up in kind of butting heads about getting it done and stuff like that. And we don't want that. We want every learner to enjoy what they're doing. And if that means just a few little adjustments on our part, then we are all for it. So we really focus on them being able to develop those practical skills in a fun way that engages them, that allows them to build their knowledge in a way that really suits what they're into, basically. We, of course, cover health and safety, which can sound really boring. Health and safety stuff. If you've ever sat through a health and safety seminar, you know what they're like. But again, we try to make that as engaging and as fun as possible for them as well. And within our courses, we really do focus on the learner being the star of the show, really, and building their confidence and their independence in being able to approach the task. Of course, you can always help your learner. We're never going to say that you can't, but it's really about allowing them to become the young learners and the young people that they're going to go on to being as well. So we give them that freedom to express, explore, and experiment as well. We absolutely love, in our close community groups, we have a number of learners who it might not even be anything to do with their course, but they're loving cooking. So they're just cooking all the time and sharing photos of what they've been making and things like that. And it's absolutely amazing to see. And we love that they've got that freedom to do that. And it comes from, you know, taking part in their course and feeling like they can do these things, and so they go on to do them. And again, all our courses are designed to be progressive as well. So we don't expect a blanket level of knowledge from the get-go. We help everyone come up to their level for who they are as individuals as well. So we're going to move on to the next slide as well, I think. Oh, no, actually, we can go back to that other one. There is another note I wanted to make as well. I touched very briefly on if your learner has sensory needs or SEN needs or anything like that. within our group, as well as being home educators, home educated teachers, crafters, creators, and things like that, we have quite a lot of neurodiversity within the team as well. So not only do we understand what it's like being home educators, we understand what it's like either being neurodiverse or having neurodiverse learners as well. So that was a really big thing when it came to the adaptability and accessibility of our courses as well, is taking all of that into consideration as well. Our ethos since we started, which was 2018, is that we want to make creative qualifications available to all. So we don't think that there should be blocks in the ways of learners because something like touching raw chicken is an absolute no-no for them. We want to get rid of silly barriers like that so that they can flourish, basically. And we love seeing that happen for our learners. And we are honestly really invested in the success of every single individual for who they are as well. So
absolutely. The boring side, enrolment, but it's not so boring, it's exciting, booking. So if any of this sounds like it would appeal to you and your learner, bookings are open now for September start. You can book and secure a space now without paying a penny, and if you change your mind between now and the first payment coming out, that's absolutely fine. So you're not obligated to it. So if you want to book it and know that you've ticked something off your to-do list before September, then you go ahead and use our booking system, which is Class for Kids. Our enrolment for these courses is open until the 31st of July, so you've got just over a month to book, with the first payment due to be taken on the 1st of August. So we'll talk a bit about the payment plan option. It's the standard route that most people take. You have got an option of paying one-off payments up front, but we do not make it a requirement at all. We, again, in line with our ethos and being flexible and wanting to be as accessible to as many people as possible, actually the standard is the payment plan, and you don't pay any extra for opting for that option. The course is a set amount regardless of how you pay or how long you need to do the course as well. So we also offer a completely no quibble cancellation policy. And again, as home editors, we get that things change, circumstances change. Your learner might just switch off from a subject suddenly, or I don't know, you're getting a kitchen refit and you're not going to be able to cook for 4 months, and you just think, well, it seems silly to carry it on now. We offer a complete no quibble cancellation policy. We just need 3 working days to be able to cancel before the next payment comes out. And we also offer the ability to re-sign up, and you just pick up from where you left off. So you don't pay an admin fee, you don't pay anything additional, you literally pick up from where you left off on the next enrolment point. So you've got that peace of mind of knowing that you can dip in and out if you want to, and by booking you're not committing yourself to the full amount of the course, because if your circumstances change or it just doesn't work for your learner, you can cancel after the first month if you want to, and you won't get interrogated by us. I don't question how. I might ask you, was there anything we could have done to make your learning better? Was it a failing on our part? Just because we're constantly looking for ways that we can improve and help more people better. But yeah, so I know there's not many companies that offer something like that, and we're only too happy to do so. I've got a question that's coming, so I'm just going to add that in. Can I sign up my son for the fast track, but just take the extra year if he finds that he needs the 2 years? Yes, so good question. So you've noticed, Ruth, that we have a fast track option as well as the standard route, and that was based on parental requests. People were asking us, could they pay more and finish the payment plan sooner? So we just put it in as an option, and all it means, so you're still paying the same set amount, but you're paying double the amount each month over less months. You have the same support. You just have a slightly different timeline if you want to follow it. But same as with the standard track, you can take as long to complete as you need to. So it makes no odds to us. As far as we're concerned, when you've completed your payment plan, we stop the payments. You fulfilled your obligation of paying for the course. It's therefore our obligation to make sure you get the support you need to complete the qualification. It's not, lucked out, your subscription's timed out. It's not like a gym subscription in that sense. You've paid for it, it's paid for, the bill's settled, and we will continue to honour our side of the fence. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but our side of the bargain, and we'll continue giving all the support you need and the written feedback and the assigned assessment until the learner has completed their qualification. That was everything, I think. So that was the one. I think
that's everything on enrolment. Yes.
So then the payments. So obviously we've talked about the payments. There's 2 prices here, one for the level 1 and one for the level 2. And that takes into account that the level 2 content is a lot heavier. It takes our assessors longer to assess. So effectively what you are paying for, because this came up in a question elsewhere, you're not paying for the course. Effectively, we make the course available to you from day dot. And that, I kind of say, that's a free, that you get that. That's just a freebie. That's what you're actually paying for is the assessor's time and the registration and certification with NCFE. So that's the lowest we could price it in order to be able to help as many families as possible. And which is why we can't offer sibling discounts either, because the cost doubles if you have 2 people. There isn't, it's not a lesser cost to us. The registration certification is still the same for an additional learner. We don't get any discount either. I'm just going to I can see more questions coming in, so I'm just going to address them because I hate that feeling of being missed or ignored. Can the children complete the course sooner than 2 years? Yes, we had that a little bit earlier, but yes. So again, you can just whiz through it if you want to, if you've got like a lesser timetable, and you have the option of either at the point that you're ready for your certificate, you have the option of asking us to claim it and you just pay your remaining balance, or you continue on with your payment plan until it finishes, and then we claim it once your payment plan is complete. The other thing I didn't mention is that with our cookery courses, we have something called direct claim status. So what that means is that we can claim certificates all year round. You don't have to wait for a certain point of the year. We don't batch them together. So when your learners' work is complete and moderated, we claim their certificate there and then. So you can receive your certificate any point in the year. Or I just saw a question come in. I feel like I've already answered it. Are there any discounts for more than one child sign up? Unfortunately not. Like you guys, we get no government funding. Technology Triumphs was completely self-funded from the start. And like I said, when I thought about how to price this, I wanted it to be as accessible. I come from working class roots myself. I'm one of four daughters, so we didn't have much. So I know how pricey things can be. This was as cheap as I could make the course in order to be able to pay the assessors and for the registration and certification and everything else going on in the background. So unfortunately, there isn't a discount. If you've got a learner that wants to join in but doesn't want the you're not fussed about them getting the qualification, then obviously you've got access to the workbooks. You can share the workbooks with your other siblings and they can do the work. But obviously you wouldn't be able to submit to an assessor to get them marked and claim the qualification. So although that's the total price, like I say, the payment plan is a monthly thing designed to complete over 24 months at either £20 or £25 a month. So £20 a month, which is level 1, £25 a month at level 2. Now bear in mind that obviously gives you access to a qualified teacher. It gives you access to all your assessed work, your individual written feedback, plus all the course content, the support, the termly awards that we do, and the qualification at the end of it. If you've started doing some research on getting these qualifications for our home educated learners, you'll know that it can be pricey just to sit the exam. All of that, the registration, certification, everything is included in the price. So there isn't anything additional that you pay on top or at the end. Yeah. Even me sending it to you in the post, there's nothing else additional. That is all included and priced out within the course. If you opt for the fast track, the price is double, as in the monthly prices. The cost is the same, but the monthly price would be £40 a month for level 1 and £50 a month for level 2, and your payment plan would end after 12 months. And like I say, we don't penalise anyone for choosing to pay in instalments. That's definitely what I would choose to do. It never made sense to me that the people that could afford to pay up front were given the discount over the people that couldn't afford to pay up front. So we don't do that. But yeah, that was it. I think on that. So what was next? This is you, Jo.
Yeah, we're just going to talk a little bit more about what we're all about, basically, at Technology Triumphs, and why we've set up the courses the way that we have and what they are all about. So the courses are designed to be immersive. And what we mean there is that they don't have to be done outside of your regular day-to-day life. You can fit these in to what you already do in life. So, making dinner, making breakfast, baking days and things like that. You don't need to separate your course out from your everyday living. So that's what we mean by immersive. You bring these courses into your life as it is, rather than them being a separate thing. Again, we try to be as flexible as possible. So whether that's flexibility in terms of having no deadlines, flexibility in terms of how you can approach your course and your recipes, flexibility in terms of when you want to work as well. So if your learner works best first thing in the morning, do it first thing in the morning. If your learner is a night owl and prefers cooking and baking at 9 o'clock in the evening, you can do that, because there are no online classes or in-person classes that you have to attend. So you can fit it in around what works for you as a family. And
yeah, on that note, I was going to say, Jo, because it's a question that comes up. You know, yes, you can finish sooner. You can focus on your course like for a few months. You could submit a workbook a week if you wanted to. That's how that's what I do with my son. Well, mainly because we're just a bit disorganised with our home learning. But we go, right, this week this is what we're doing, and we're getting it done. We might not submit anything for months. That's absolutely fine. If you submit nothing for 6 months, you're still on the system. And then you suddenly want to start submitting workbooks, that's absolutely fine by us. And I think it's nice because there's so many provisions for us as home editors now. It's something else I was going to touch on. Since COVID, we've noticed the number of providers out there is massive, which is nice because we have choice. But this is another reason we want to talk about who we are in our course at EOTAS, because obviously wheedling through all that, it can be pretty tricky. There was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, so a lot of providers can be quite restrictive on how you access their courses and what days and what times. We want to eliminate all of that. So you can submit work any day of the week, and we aim to turn around the marking within 7 days. And I'm pretty sure that is what we've done all year. In fact, it's normally a lot sooner than that. So depending on what days of the week your assessment is online, you could get your feedback within the same day even, so if you're lucky. So there's no restrictions as to when you submit, how you work. Also, we just mentioned about the booking system. It does say on there, because it's a general booking system that's used nationally by providers. It will say on there a day of the week. It says Mondays at 12 or something that your lesson time is. You can completely disregard that. That's just an automated thing that they put on there. Your lesson time is whenever you want it to be. But yeah, sorry, Jo, you crack on.
Yeah, so really the last things is that the courses are, as Pip said, it's like a 50-50 split between theoretical knowledge and practical. But really that all still focuses on building skills for your learner, so that your learner feels like they are capable of doing these things, and in allowing them that freedom to express and that freedom to explore in terms of practicalities, you often find that their confidence in themselves as learners and in their ability to learn skyrockets. We have so much feedback from parents whose learners have, say, come out of school, and school has kind of squashed their enthusiasm for all subjects, all learning and things like that. And then they come to do something like this, and just slowly but surely parents see their learner come back to life, and then they go, there is nothing that my learner loves more than doing their cookery course or doing their textiles course, because they feel so seen and so heard as an individual, and they feel like they are capable of not only doing the task but capable of learning how to do new things, whereas a school experience might have just absolutely killed that for them. So that is really something that we absolutely love hearing about, and we really are actively trying to promote for every single learner that signs up with us as well. We've also covered an awful lot about the adaptability of our courses. Again, there's probably no way that we can think of that we can't adapt to something for your learner. So if there is a consideration that you would like to ask us if we can put into place, please do let us know. Either you can comment as we are in real time, or you can DM us or email us. I don't think there's ever been any request that we've had that we have had to deny completely. We've always been able to find some sort of way of adapting what we do. We hear a lot about in schools is that your learner is like a square peg trying to fit into a round hole and stuff like that. And what we really try to do here is that instead of trying to ask the square peg of the learner to change shape, we're changing the shape of the hole that they fit into. So it's really, we can make those adjustments as a provider, and we really pride ourselves on being able to do that. So if there's any questions that you have about how we can alter our approach for your learner, if it's in terms of the recipes that they follow, how they're shown doing it, or even just the feedback that they receive as well, please do just get in touch, because that is absolutely what we are here for.
So, more info.
Yeah, if you would like any more information, you can, of course, join those community groups on Facebook. We're going to be sure to put the links up for them as well. And you can also visit our main page, and there's a drop down that has groups, a tab along the top, and you can join the community group for any of the courses as well. It doesn't have to be cookery. You might be interested in learning a little bit more about textiles, perhaps for next year or next enrolment. You can visit our website, which is www.technologytriumphs.co.uk. You can book through the booking service, which is Class for Kids. And I think the link is on this live as well. And you can follow our social media accounts as well: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. And if you ever want any help or any advice, you can email us, which is technologytriumphs@outlook.com, or send us a private message on any of those social media accounts, and we are more than happy to help. And Pip, I think, will be very interested to hear about this next question that's come through.
I saw it. I was keeping it under wraps. Will we ever do it's a secret? Will we ever do level 3 in cooking? I've been planning it for the last few months already. So the answer is yes. Yes, absolutely. It's something that I thought about a couple of years ago. I did ask in the Facebook groups, and there didn't seem to be a lot of call for it. And then I decided, well, you know what, even if it helps just a handful of young people that want a level 3, that don't want to go on to study at college for whatever reason, why not? So yes, I'm planning it at the moment. It's obviously quite an extensive course, but I'm really excited about it. I don't want to say too much, but I'm really excited about it. It's not going to be anything like what the colleges will be teaching. Let's put it this way: we are really utilising the fact that we are home edders and we do things a bit differently, and we have the freedom. And not necessarily home edders. You might have a school attending child, but we haven't got the restriction of a classroom, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, really excited about it. I did see it. I was like, oh. I'm not very good at keeping secrets anyway, since that time that came out, wasn't it? But thank you for asking. I was just going to quickly as well just talk about a couple of case studies. So like I say, we've got learners now that have been through the whole system and I've now gone on to college. So we are getting feedback from parents who are saying at the interview, they're I'm going to start from the beginning. Well, first of all, they're saying my learner now has the confidence to apply for college. Like, they would never have had the confidence to apply for college before completing this course and receiving that feedback that they get. It's very uplifting, and also getting a certificate. So one, it's helping them open doors. Two, when they go to their interviews, the colleges are feeding back how impressed they are with their photo gallery. So their evidence, their electronic portfolio, if you will, of their cooking, they are really impressed with. Again, having had taught food tech in schools, it can be really restricted because of time and budget. So we're able to do something a little bit different, and colleges are seeing this and recognising this, and I've been quite blown away in the interview process. So learners are able to jump to level 3 in a lot of cases. They're jumping to the level 3 courses instead of being told to do a full-time level 2 course at college. So we are now getting learners report back to us that once they're on the course, that their tutors, well, one, they're recognising that they're already above their peers on their courses because their subject knowledge has been developed so well through the course. So this isn't just, again, I taught this in schools, I know what gets covered, and it's all about passing exams, whereas we can focus on really developing skills and confidence and independence. So the learner is recognising that they're above their peers, and then we're getting feedback as well that, you know, learners are getting distinctions in all their terms work and stuff. So it's all good. It's been very exciting. So that isn't just the cookery that's happening across our other courses as well. It is opening doors that were perhaps shut to a lot of home edding learners in the past. So lots of exciting things happening there. We've got the track record now. We know for sure, and it isn't just about the qualification. I think this is what's important to point out. With creative courses, as someone who went to art college, with creative courses, you can have those bits of paper, but that won't guarantee you entry into a course. The course tutors, if they're any good, normally want to see a portfolio. They want to see what you can actually do. And when I went to art college, I actually got access. I was given an unconditional offer on the strength of my portfolio. So it didn't matter if I failed my A levels, I was in to, it was doing a degree course on the strength of my portfolio. Now that might have changed a little bit. That was a few years ago. So the colleges will ask for the qualification, but the qualification name on its own isn't necessarily enough. It's the quality of our provisions, I believe, that is helping learners into their next steps. Even NCFE, when we have to have annual inspections, not you guys, it's just us that have to be inspected on the quality of our provisions and our assessment. And every single inspection we've had for all of our creative courses, we've hit that, we're graded 1 to 5, and we've hit 1s across every single box. And they've highlighted the quality of our provisions and what learners are actually learning is really, really high quality. So it isn't just the certificate, although it's a bonus. Actually, the content is really useful for young people that want to go on into creative or practical subjects, especially. Got some comments coming in, lots of thank yous. Got Sarah said it's the best course my son has ever done. I've given him loads of confidence. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I know your son is doing lots of courses as well, so that's really, really awesome to hear. He's done brilliantly. He's done it in like record time as well. So well done. I won't say his name, but well done to both of you, to be fair. Oh, Hayley's put a question. Sorry, somebody's come to the door, so I apologise if you already covered this. Have I missed a question from Hayley?
I don't think so. Let me scroll. It might be from previous question, Hayley. But if you've got a question, by all means, drop it into the comments box. If anybody's got any question, drop it in. No, you're all good, Hayley.
Awesome.
Excellent. If you think of a question after the fact, which if you're anything like me, as soon as I put the phone down or go offline, I'm suddenly, that's what I meant to talk about. So if you've got anything, you can drop it onto this video after the fact. We will pick up all the comments. If you're watching retrospectively and there's anything that we haven't covered, pop a comment into the box and we'll come back to it as well. Or, as I say, reach out to us on email, reach out to us on PM, and we are always happy to help.
Yeah. How do I access a sample of the course? That'll be in our closed community group. So we'll put the links on straight after this. There's separate groups for level 1 and level 2. You can join all of them. You don't have to, and you could just join them all just to gain access to the free sample materials if you want, even if you've got no intention of booking on. It's there for you to make use of. So you just go to the file section within the group and you should find in there a sample session. If you can't find it for whatever reason, pop Jo a DM on social media or pop me an email at technologytriumph@outlook.com and I'll email it straight to you. Same goes with any questions. If you don't want to put something publicly, you can message us privately that way as well. There was something else I was going to say, but it popped out of my head, like the putting the phone down thing. But you just, that's just happened to me. But yes, the other thing I was going to say, there is a previous live that I did last week on the Thursday. It will show up in our past event that goes into a little bit more detail about how the qualifications work in terms of college applications and things like that. So if people want a little bit more insight into that, it's probably worth having a look back at that one if you've got spare half an hour. That's pretty much it. So like we say, booking is open. You can book your place and you're not obligated to it. So if you change your mind, you find something that you think is going to be better for your child between now and when we start, you can cancel it again. We don't interrogate anyone. We haven't got time for that. We're all about the positives. And if you've got any other questions about any of our other courses, feel free to ask us. The other thing I was going to say, if you're checking out our website, you can see when you go to current courses that and scroll to the bottom, there's a load of free provisions as well. So I mentioned right at the beginning of this presentation that we've created hours of free content, and that is freely available to all. So feel free to make use of that or share it with other home ed families. At the moment, we've got on there some draw along sessions. So every Monday, I go live with my eldest, and I do a draw along like an art session. Monday mornings at 11, but I do then upload them to YouTube for people to access at a later date as well. If you do join in with the live, or you don't even have to, if you complete the work that day of the evening of that live between 6 and 9 p.m, Jo puts up a post with a picture of my illustration and invites you to share your learner's work, and I give you written feedback, which I know is quite handy for anyone that has to or needs to or wants to collect evidence for any reason in terms of their child's learning. I'm happy to give you written feedback on your learner's work as a qualified DT and arts teacher. and that's again completely free of charge. It's just a way that we can help. And keep an eye on the social media. Maybe follow our page if you haven't already, because we are continually looking for ways that we can give back to the community and support our community. Not the community, it's our community. And so we've got more coming up. We've got a creativity for mental wellbeing course that we run every year. We have careers week that we run where we interview people from different industries. Incidentally, if anyone's interested in being a part of that because of something that you do or have done in the past and you actually want to share your knowledge, then get in touch with us as well, because we like to build upon those provisions as well. I'm very aware I'm rambling now. I was just trying to give people an opportunity to ask questions if you had any. But it was just to highlight that if this doesn't appeal to you or think it's out of your budget or whatever reason, do feel free to make use of what we are creating. So with the YouTube tutorials and the free course content as well that you can find on our website. We're only too happy to share because we know what it's like, basically. I think that's it. I can't see any more questions coming in. So thanks so much for joining us. Like I said, we've got some previous events for our entry-level qualification, which is probably more suitable for younger learners or learners that really don't want much in terms of written work. And we also have the photography course that is new for September, that we ran as a live last week. Next week we've got textiles and mixed media. Not sure what mixed media is. If you've got an artistic learner who likes crafting, that's mixed media. So rather than just focusing on fine arts, we are exploring different mediums. We're making products with our hand, and we allow the learner to experiment and explore any specialism of their choosing. And then the week after, our final live event is for the cake decorating course. So there are 5 potential level 2 courses at the moment. There are 6 level 1s, and then there is an entry level that takes you through a few of them as a carousel as well. And as you now know, there's more in the works. We have several courses being built right now. I think 5 courses that are being built right now. So keep an eye out, because if there's nothing here for you at the moment, there may well be in the coming months as well. Well, thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll see some of you at another live. And if you've got any questions, do feel free to reach out to us in whatever way you want to.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.